RC drivers, for 2024, ProBoat has revamped the Blackjack 24. If you're not familiar with this boat, it's a ready-to-run fast electric catamaran, 4S powered, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you the new hull, the impressive running hardware, the Spectrum electronics, and then we're gonna take it to a local lake so you can see it churn up the water. So drivers, let's get into the features of the Blackjack 24, starting off with the hull. It's a molded ABS hull. It's available in the 2 different liveries. As you can see, there's the Heatwave version on the box, that bright yellow, that's gonna look vibrant on the water. Like the look of the Blackjack version too. Love the streaks on it. The red streaks off the front just gives it a really fast look, but it's a 2-piece hull joined together at this seam here in the front and along the side, and then it's got the molded canopy on top, and as you can see, the thumb screws to hold it down, and that actually seals it down to the hull itself. There's a foam gasket underneath it, so like that. Hopefully we don't get any leaks in there. But back to the shape of the hull, again, catamaran style, so you're gonna get that stability, and then on the bottom here, it looks pretty good. You got your ride pads in the back, and then you've got that step out to the strut where it's just gonna ride on that rear and just allow the air to go through the center. And this boat's probably gonna be a rocket out there. It says it goes over 30 miles an hour, so a 24-inch hull going over 30, that sounds pretty good to me. And what I really like about the hull, even though it's ABS, it seems very solid. So they got a foam block on the inside. I think that adds to the stability of it. In the back area, they have an inner skeleton. So I'm gonna show you that in a minute, but first I wanna show you the business end of this boat. And look at this, we've got aluminum running hardware in the back. That's absolutely awesome. So the strut itself, that is machined aluminum. You got your rudder bracket, that's aluminum. It's got the breakaway slot here. So if the rudder does hit something, it just folds up instead of breaking off. Looks like there's bushings in there for the pivot. Even the steering arm is metal. And then you've got this heavy duty linkage set up, rubber grommet, so it seals off the steering link. As you can see, metal prop, double nut on that as well. And back to the strut itself, see that screw on the back? That's a maintenance screw. So you go pull that off and pick up ProBoat's grease gun and shoot some grease into the strut to lube the bearings that are inside of there. So definitely like that. It's gonna make maintenance a bit easier for that setup. And then they've got a drain plug. And what's pretty cool about the drain plug is it's actually tethered. I've lost a few drain plugs, so I'm happy to see that they've got that tethered on so I don't make that mistake anymore. And then yes, as you notice, there are 2 cooling tubes. There's the pickup slots in the rudder itself, and here are the 2 exits on top. That means the motor is cooled separately from the speed controller, which is what everybody likes. They don't like that one run system. So definitely like they went that route. There's the antenna tube. Now let's pull off the canopy so we can check out inside. Again, the screws on, and of course it's catching. Still catching. There we go. Got it off. Like that they have a little foam block underneath that as well, so you don't lose that in case it gets windy when you're changing batteries. Yep, been there, done that. And there's that inner skeleton. You can see it's a large molded composite piece that just helps firm up the bottom of this boat. You don't get any flex in that ABS. Side note, there is the included boat stand, so don't want to forget about that. But let's take a closer look at what's going on in here. We'll start off with the battery mount. So there's a battery mount on each side. So you put a 7.4 volt LiPo battery on each side of this. Then check out the battery plug mounts. That is absolutely cool. Love that addition to it. So the battery leads aren't flopping around on the inside all over the place. And then the motor mount itself. So it's a composite piece. It supports the motor in the front and in the back. It's got the metal plate in the back. Everything's screwed down, so if you do need to take it out, it's pretty easy to get the motor out of here. You, of course, have to take off that motor coupler. And while we're there, there's your flex shaft, your nylon stuffing tube through the brass tube, and additional ISO mount support there. Again, there's a foam block in the front. Looks like we got some support for the transom in the back. Then they've got a simple receiver box setup. Doesn't look like this is actually waterproof. It's just there to keep water away, I guess. You got your Spectrum receiver inside of that. Across from it, you got the Spectrum 603 servo. That's just kind of your standard servo, and I can see it's just got plastic gears on the inside. With how heavy duty the steering linkage is, really wish they gave us one of their metal geared servos in here. That would have been a nice touch. Here is the 2200 kV motor. It's got that metal water cooling jacket around it. Then you got your Spectrum Furba speed controller, water cooled as well. Again, IC5 plugs on this one. This one's going to be pushing a lot of current through it, so they went with the bigger plugs, which is awesome. Also included in the kit, you're going to get your SLT2 radio system, some AA batteries, an antenna tube, and an instruction manual. So that's the deal on the new Blackjack 24. Now let's head outside outside and hit the water. All right, guys, I got a nice day out. However, it's a little bit windy, so you know how it works with a cat. They get air underneath them, so I'm a little worried going into the wind, but we got to test this thing out. Today's the day. All right, guys, here we go. Let's see what the 24 could do. Ooh, gets out of the hole pretty quick. It's got some major speed to it. Look at that. Around the corner. Yeah, that thing's got some rip. Drops down the turn a little bit. Made it through the corner good. We're getting some ripples in the water now. Still stable. Backing off in the corner, like how it just settles in. Nice. Ooh, getting a little light. Pushing a little harder. Now we got some ripples in the water. Like how crisp the steering is on it. Man, that boat looks good. It's got some serious rip for a 24. Ooh, we got air under it. Oh, my heart's definitely pounding with that corner back there. Oh, didn't flip it. Thank God. All right, here we go. So yeah, we definitely, you know, I've got some tight corners here because I got a limited space right now, but a little bit of wind. But if we had a little bit more of an open space so this water could settle in each corner, I think it'd be really good. Of course, if you're running with some friends, that could be a little different. Love the rip on it though. When you punch it out of the corner, it just gets up and goes. Man, look at that. Let's do a little reverse direction, just for the fun factor. A little choppy in that corner. Looks good though. Look at that. Smooth through that corner. Yeah. Awesome. Good stuff. Just in case I don't get a speed on this thing, definitely check out Mr. Matt. I'll have a link in the video description below for him. He always does an awesome job speed testing boats. Pretty sure he'll have this thing. This is good. This is good, ProBoat. Loving this release. Ooh. Man, I'm really lucking out with these little spin outs. It's a little bit on the fun side right now. Just enjoying the way this boat looks and drives. Look at that thing. Killer. Punch it out of the hole for 1, 2, 3. Takes a few feet to get out of the water, but once it's on plane, it's a ripper. Some people ask, how do you know when to bring it in? Well, it just cut off on me and it was way out there. So I waited like 30 seconds, pulled the throttle again, and I had just enough to motor back to shore. The other thing people ask is, how do you retrieve it if it stops in the water? Well, here's my fishing pole. That's what you do. All right, guys, now let's take a look inside. Let's see if we've got any water in here. And just a little bit. And that may have come towards the end when I was driving it back to shore. The rear was in the water, but looking good. I was using some 4,000 milliamp packs on that run. Motor's cool. Speed controller's ice cold. Looking good. So it's been years since the Blackjack 24 got a refresh, and to be honest with you, the orange paint job was getting a bit old. These 2024 reworks look absolutely awesome. Love the style on these, and the boats themselves they saw a major change, and everything I think was worth it. I mean, these are near perfection. The only thing that probably could have made it better in some people's eyes is if the hull was fiberglass, but this hull is pretty solid. I mean, just watching it out on the water and even listening to it, it sounds and feels like a solid hull when you're driving it. So that inner skeleton is really working. The boat is very stable. One thing about catamarans is, again, the air gets under it, so you have to drive these boats. It's not like a V-hull where it's much more stable, much more forgiving. These you do have to drive, and that's part of the excitement. My heart was definitely pounding when going through the turns. You got to let off, let the boat settle in through the corner, and then roll back on the throttle to get out, and this thing just punches out of the hole. Super cool to watch, and of course the top speeds are very exciting. You know, we've got that 4S power system in there with the 2200 kV motor. I think it's powered just right for the size of the boat. I like that we have the dual water cooling jackets now, because the motor and the speed controller were pretty much cold after my run. The steering was good. Again, I would have liked to have seen a metal geared servo in here. But one thing I'd really like to talk about, actually, and I didn't really talk about it before, was the SSL battery trays. So much easier to change out the batteries now. I mean, you don't have to stick your hands in there and scrape your knuckles on the edge of the deck, you know, getting your batteries in, trying to do the Velcro strap. Now you can just put it in that battery tray, slide it in, and you're good to go. I think ProBoat did an awesome job on this rework. Really cool boat to drive. Just the right size for smaller ponds and stuff. So if you can't handle a big Blackjack 42, this is definitely one to check out. I'll have links for it in the video description below.